She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
That's the comment that got Don Lemon in deep water last week. He's having a rough go at things. I think it's pretty obvious if you watch even a little bit of programming that features him. Now, he won't be appearing on CNN today after he had already missed a day for a scheduled break. And CNN saying, no, we're not firing him. He just needed a little more time off, But he did apologize for the comment he made there. Just to give you some more context, they were talking about Nikki Haley, and he felt the need to opine on when women are in their prime to make a point about how Nikki Haley is too old to be considered in her prime.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley's issue is not her age. Nikki Haley's issue is that she sucks, okay? That's her issue. But Nikki Haley did later weigh in on Don Lemon. But first, let's hear the rest of what he had to say, and then we'll go to her statement and hear from you too, Cenk.
It's just like prime. If you look it up, it'll say, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about
the message?
prime
I'm
for
just
being
saying
president?
what the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to Google or whatever it is.
Just
please stop.
Stop talking. 100%. Look, I personally was not offended by it. Like, I don't really care, right? Like, Don Lemon's opinion on when women are in their prime I'm not delicate about it. Let's just say that. But you gotta know when to stop. And he just did not know when to stop. He kept going.
Yeah.
Read the room.
Okay, so the best question was right in the beginning when his co-host said, prime for what? No, but like, first of all, it's hilarious because it reminds me of turn down for what, right? And I thought that people are gonna fall out of the ceiling and start dancing. Okay, but it's the best question. Don, what are you talking about? Prime for what, childbearing ages or prime for politics? Because in politics these days, in your 50s, you're just warming up. Like most of the politicians are in their 80s now, right? So I guess prime is 80s, Nancy Pelosi, Biden, Trump, Bernie, etc., right? So prime for what? Okay, so that was a disaster. Okay, now I got news for you. When anytime somebody on TV has an unscheduled day off in the middle of a controversy, they didn't decide to take an extra vacation day, okay? No, they have been told not to come back on air that day. It's both a form of punishment and, drum roll, they're considering firing him today. So he might not be back on air tomorrow. He might or he might not. If they'd already made the decision, they would have announced it, right?
Yep.
If they had already made the decision to keep him, he'd be on today, okay? So that's what, and here's reason number 2 that I know that they're considering firing him, because they're leaking like crazy against him.
They are. There's like, so look, I consume a lot of news that I don't even talk about on the show. I've been keeping tabs on the drama unfolding at CNN. And CNN's people at CNN, I don't know if it's the executives, other producers, they're definitely leaking stuff to the press because there's been like a slow and steady flow of anti-Don Lemon content. So before we get to the other stuff, he did apologize, saying the reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful and irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it. A woman's age doesn't define her either personally or professionally. I have countless women in my life. Some of my best friends are older women. He ends that tweet. Okay, look, again, I don't really care. And if it were just that particular issue or that inartful statement, I don't think someone should get fired over that. Like, I just don't. Like, it's okay, we're gonna be all right. Ladies, we're gonna be all right, okay?
Yeah, 100%. Now let me tell you what this is all actually about. It's not about anything he said on air. So you're mad at that? Sure, be mad, whatever. It's a dumb thing to say, right? No, their ratings are horrible.
Very bad.
So they need a scapegoat. So they're gonna say, oh, well, Don Lemon, it was Don Lemon that was causing, and then they start talking about his ratings of his primetime show. Wait, why are we leaking about that today? Okay, so they're going to imply that it's not Chris Licht, the guy running CNN, that's causing the ratings problem with his dumbass strategy of being more right wing. I'm sorry, moderate, right? Which of course means more corporate and more right wing. It's not his fault. It's not the owner's fault that told him to do that. It's Don Lemon. He doesn't respect older women enough. Are you kidding me? This is the only time you've ever done anything interesting on CNN since you've taken over. People might accidentally watch, okay?
Yeah, and by the way, so look, the new leadership at CNN has already made some pretty terrible decisions. So for instance, there was content on CNN that was actually excellent. It's just that it wasn't the news content. Stanley Tucci's show, where he's like traveling around Italy, was one of the best shows that CNN had. Cut it, nixed it. Why? Why would you get rid of the stuff that you guys were doing right?
I know why. So guys, CNN actually makes huge profit to their credit, right? So it's not like, oh, they're having sustainability issues, even though their viewership is way down and will affect their profitability later on. No, the guys who bought it, the Discovery guys, they bought it with tons of debt, okay? So they put billions of dollars of debt on top of the parent company. So that has increased their costs. So since the interest rate has artificially increased their costs, they're going on a cutting spree.
Oh my God.
So now those Stanley Tucci shows, I'm sure, are very expensive. And so I don't know if they're sustainable in and of themselves, but they saw a big fat target to cut, and Chris Licht was told, and to be fair to Licht, who I don't know at all, okay? He's getting all these marching orders from Malone, who is the biggest shareholder of the company that bought it, right? And so he's telling him, go cut everything. So he's going and cutting everything. And he's telling him, go be more right wing. And because Malone's right wing, right? So Licht does what he's told, and guess what? I guarantee it right now, ahead of time, Licht will also find himself under the same bus that Don Lemon is under today.
Oh, 1000%.
They're asking him to do all these things that are very unpopular, will destroy CNN's ratings, and then they'll fire him over it as if it was his idea. No, this is corporate pressure, and it comes from very poor business strategies at the highest level, and they punish people at lower levels.
So I actually want to skip ahead to the very last video in this story, because the other issue at play here is the relationship that Don Lemon has, or the lack of on-air chemistry Don Lemon has with Caitlin Collins. And recently Caitlin Collins had wrapped up an interview, went back to the studio where Don Lemon was with Poppy Harlow, and it was awkward to say the least. Let's watch.
Thank you for taking time to join us.
Thank you for having me. All right, thank you. That's gonna be it. That's the time that we're in, where facts are sort of flexible.
That's why we got Caitlin Collins on the Hill, fact-checking in real time. It was a great interview.
Citing uncredible sources, like citing the New York Post as a credible source and saying that facts are, it's just, I can't believe that we're here.
Caitlin, that was a great interview. All right, moving on.
Anyway, well, now moving on, because listen, that's a big issue when it comes to the American, hold on please with the music. That's a big issue when it comes to the American people. The American people are gonna have to suffer through all of this stuff, from election deniers to people who don't believe in facts. We don't have a shared reality, and now it's taken center stage to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, an election denier, a conspiracy theorist, a QAnon sort of influencer or supporter presiding over the House of Representatives.
I didn't look at him during that monologue. I looked at Poppy Harlow's face the entire time. It was so awkward.
Yeah, but I got, ready to be shocked, I got Don Lemon's side on that.
No, what he was saying was accurate.
What he was saying was totally accurate. And the reason he said that is Caitlin Collins, who by the way started at a right-wing media organization.
Right, Daily Caller.
Yeah, did not fact check that guest at all. And he was doing a fact check that a journalist should do afterwards. But people that are in power don't care about that at all. All they care about is personal relationships and their own career and status. So Poppy Harlow was like, I can't. She put up her knee, did you notice that? She's like, okay. And she's like, oh, I can't believe you're criticizing Caitlin Collins. Remember, Don, never criticize anyone inside the club. And he made that mistake. And by the way, he's also criticizing CNN's strategy there, because CNN's strategy is to suck up the Republicans now, right? So, and by the way, he was probably toast right then and there. They were just
100%.
waiting for him to say anything. Look, remember, he said that the missing plane from Indonesia might have gotten sucked into a black hole. That's crazy. And he didn't get fired for that. He didn't get fired for that. No, the only reason you get fired is if you challenge corporate power. And so he doesn't even know how to challenge corporate power, but that was him doing the best he could, right? And that's what got him in trouble. And so he'll be fired, no question about it. I don't know if he survives today, let alone the future, because they're gonna blame all the bad ratings on him. And I'll make one more prediction for you guys. Their ratings will suck just as hard after he's gone.
Oh, 1000%. 1000%.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.